All right, coaches, welcome back to Ask Coach from Exo Clinics. This is going to be a brand new segment that we're going to bring you on a weekly basis. We may even bring a couple videos here as we get through summer and then into fall. It'll probably go to more of a weekly segment here. But again, this is your opportunity to ask us some questions. We're going to do our best. We get a lot of questions over email, over Twitter, and we try to do our best to email and respond to each and every one of you. But now this has been something we've talked about for about a year, and now we're going to put this thing onto our YouTube channel. So be sure to subscribe, follow that community, help us grow that. And again, this is for you guys and for all of us to collaborate and get better as coaches. So again, Ask Coach, Exo Clinics. We've got 4 questions here tonight. I'm going to get it answered. Several others were sent via email. But so when you have something that comes to mind, send them in. I'll do my best to get it answered for you, whether it comes through email or on this segment here. So let's go here. So again, tonight we're going to answer about 4 questions right here. The first one right there is going to be, what is my favorite way to run power? So I think a lot of you guys know that, I love power and it's a big staple in my offense, and it's something that, I've been running for a long, long time. So, if you guys are part of our community, you've looked at the perfect marriage, and when we talk about power, we talk about duo. Actually, for 2024, there's going to be another course coming out in addition to the perfect marriage. It'll be the 2nd edition, and we're going through that curriculum right now and figuring out exactly what that's going to be. But it's going to be about gap schemes, power, duo, and counter, and then some of the additions off of it. So again, my favorite way to run power, if I had my choice, I would love to run it against a 4-down front. I'd love to get our kick out or our sniffer to the under part of that front right there. So if I can get us lined up, to the shade, and I can run power at the shade, I'm going to run this thing what we would call just power change. And so what's going to happen there, and I think why this is so special, and I think guys that have watched The Perfect Marriage, guys that have utilized this, I've gotten emails and remarks and questions, and we've cliniced with guys, when they started running this, they loved it. When they were seeing 4-down teams, this was something that they wanted to run. So really what you're doing is you're going to change the responsibility between the front side tackle and the Y. And it's still a gap scheme. This is still your muscle play. This is still a gap power. So what's going to happen here now, instead of having to deal with this defensive end trying to wrong arm because this guy's going to block down and part of that deuce, we're just going to say change. And now this offensive tackle is basically your kick out. So he's going to base that defensive end and try to drive him in that direction. Now what's going to happen is your sniffer is going to join in with the guard on the double team back to the mic. Center is going to block back. Guard is going to skip pull. Tackle is going to gap seal funnel. And then whatever else you're doing with RPOs or maybe push crack into that boundary safety, this is still a downhill play right there at that A gap. But again, you just opened up that hole. If you can get this thing ran at the under, I would say that's my favorite way to run power. And obviously, power read, 2 back power, 1 back power, quarterback power, all the RPOs, all the things we want to do with it. I would say that this is one of my favorite ways because I think it really can affect the defense, and this thing can get downhill fast into a nice big hole right there. And all we're calling it is just power change. So I think that's my favorite way to run power. So those are some thoughts with that. And that's how this is going to work, guys. If these are going to be my opinions, these are going to be my thoughts. I'm going to try to bring you as much information as I can when I answer these questions. But again, this is for you guys. So that question simply came in from a coach. What's your favorite way to run power? So that's how I'm going to present it right there. So now moving on to the next one right here, would be this, what's my favorite bunch concept? So, again, without knowing or asking and elaborating, what do you mean? Like, what's my favorite concept? Is it run scheme? Is it passing scheme? Or whatever it might be. But I think if I'm going to line up in bunch, I know that the defense is going to have some sort of bunch check over here, and they're going to try to play, maybe box this thing with 1, 2, 3, 4, and even the mic might even be a little bit wider right there. So I know that bunch alone is going to bring a lot of attention to the defense and make those guys talk. I know the defensive staffs that we're going to go against are going to have to talk about the bunch. So again, if I had to say what's my favorite concept to run, I'm going to run away from the bunch, whether it's a gap scheme, it's a zone scheme, but I'm going to run counter. I'm going to run counter away. I'm going to bring that H, but I know that there's going to be a lot of attention right there. So just my favorite bunch concept in regards to what we're talking about tonight would just be counter. So I'm going to let this guy leave 2 here. So the tackle is going to block down and join, and they're going to deuce back to the mic. Now, the one thing I can do here, because I'm running it at a shade right here, I can pull the center. But if not, this would just be guard H, counter, tackle would be right there. So the tackle is going to gap seal funnel. So for this purpose right here, my favorite way to do it, I would go really double gap seal funnel. The guard would be on the tackle would be on the end. My center is going to be my first puller, trying to kick that thing out. My H is going to skip pull and be my second puller. I'm going to push crack right there, or I'm going to RPO this guy. I'm going to run downhill, but I'm going to run away from that bunch. I think that's my favorite way to run, using the bunch concept right there. And maybe next week I'll add our favorite pass play, or maybe our favorite bunch pass play in the red zone here. So again, I appreciate these questions. That one came in, favorite bunch concept. That's what I'm doing. I'm running away from that bunch because the defense is going to have so much attention brought to the bunch. So the next question coming up here, down here to the left, how do you teach your slant route? Okay. So again, it really depends, and obviously, so I'm going to draw it up twice here. So, I'm going to draw it up versus off coverage, and I'm going to draw it up versus press, and we'll start over here. So the first thing, when I think of a slant route, I think of 3 steps. So my first coaching point that I talk about, if I don't have to deal with press, it's going to be stride 1, stride 2, shorten 3, so I can come off flat horizontal with good body control. So if I've got to go get leverage here, there's 1, stride 2, shorten my 3rd step, and then I want to be able to win in that direction. I think so many guys think that, this slant angle is that way. And it might be if this guy's really, really soft in cover 3. But if I've got to go get leverage and I've got to go beat across, sometimes our slants even look like they're 90s. And we coach them up that way. But on that 3rd step, and the other coaching point, in addition to stride 1, stride 2, shorten 3, is on film, I've got to see your 3rd step. So routes on air, route development, route prep, and you're putting this stuff on film, and you're looking at it and you're studying this as a receiver group and a quarterback group and as an offensive staff. I want to see that 3rd step on film. So again, stride 1, stride 2, shorten 3 for great body control, and be ready to come off, go attack the football. Because if you don't attack the football, the defense is going to attack you. So again, that would be my 2 biggest coaching points right there. Is it's a 3-step route: stride 1, stride 2, shorten 3 for body control, so you can get off that. And then as you get a little bit more advanced, there might be inside stem, vertical on that 3rd step, head and shoulder fake, and then you can separate right there. But it's all about that separation point and getting to the football there. So again, very specific on how we coach that route up. Hopefully there's some coaching points you got from right there. This next one right here. So when we're running slant routes versus a press corner, and most of the time these guys are going to be inside. So our quarterback's got to understand that when I look at this over here and he's soft, this is probably going to be rocker step and then rip it to that spot, anticipating him winning to that spot. When I see this, it is still rocker step, but I got to know that most of my receivers are going to be taught this the same way, but every guy is going to have and be defended differently. But the original thing is our route is going to win in here. So that's where he's going to win. So we want to get this DB thinking that we're running a fade. So we're going to work a foot fire, which I would call the first move, an outside release, which is the second move, and then bring him back in. So it's really a double move, or there's actually like a 3rd move back inside. So there's a foot fire, get outside. So I want a foot fire, get outside, make sure that this guy thinks I'm going in this direction, that he's going to jump on the fade route. Once this guy gets his hips turned, now I'm going to use a throw by. So we are a big throw by. I've been using that for years. I've talked to a lot of coaches about it. I would say one of the biggest coaching points and one of the tougher things to get taught with this route is that your receiver needs to understand that you do not want separation until you finish the throw by. So when you are going through your foot fire, you outside release, you want him on your hip, you want him on you, stressed out that you're going on a fade. Once you get his hips turned and both his feet are going downhill or upfield that way, now you're going to utilize the throw by with your inside and come back in right there. And that's where the separation takes place. So again, foot fire, outside release, throw by, there's your 3 moves. Coaching point, not a lot of separation, and you got to work this. You got to work this against, your guys. You got to work it as you're the DB. You got to work it against bags, and they've got to be able to utilize that throw by with their inside arm, and then they've got to go win to the football. And we see it every day in the college football and the NFL. Guys are winning on that slant route. So again, guys, I love this segment. I think this is awesome. I think this can be really good for everybody. This thing certainly gets my football juices flowing so I can think about, these different questions that you guys are bringing to me. So keep bringing them in. I'm going to do my best to get them all answered, and hopefully I'm going to give you a coaching point or two, as we get through this. So now getting on to the last one right here, what's my go-to play 3rd and 3 against the 4-2 box? So again, I'm going to go back to, some of my roots, and if I can get a 4-2 box and I can identify an over and an under, I'm going to run tackle wrap. And that would be my go-to play on 3rd and 3. If I know that I've got 6 guys in the box, I've got 6 guys that can block, I'm going to run the quarterback. I'm going to equate numbers, and we're going to go from there. So this would be my go-to 3rd and 3 call against this 4-2 box. So again, I want to run tackle wrap at the shade. So if I'm running tackle wrap at the shade, that's going to be a double team to the Mike. The play side tackle is going to base this defensive end. The backside guard is going to step back on the 3 technique. And then obviously this is going to be my puller. He's going to skip pull up for Will. And now because I want to run the quarterback, I'm going to make it look like inside zone mesh right here. This guy is going to come back nice and tight, and he's going to block that defensive end. Even if he's screaming, I feel like this tailback's aware that this tackle is pulling, and then this is going to hold these guys. This is going to set up all the blocks for you. I think this mesh going this way is going to set up this double team on the Mike. It's going to pull this guy in here. Your tackle is going to be able to pull up, get a nice square body on him. Tailback is going to go this way, and then your quarterback as the runner is going to be right there. And obviously, you got to go dig that out. You got to base that. Got to go dig that out, and got to go base that. Obviously, I think right now in the RPO world, with this 6-for-6 Q run game, QB run, I may have an RPO out there, a gift or some sort of man beater, that I can separate 3rd and 3. Maybe it's a speed out right there. Maybe it's something else. But again, Ask Coach XO Clinics. This is a great segment, guys. There's 4 questions. Hopefully you can take something from this and you can get some coaching points. But again, keep your questions coming in. This is going to be a weekly segment. We may go twice a week as we continue to get through summer here. And then once we get to season, I'm going to try to do it once a week. But this is an opportunity, just to get your questions answered or check out what other guys are asking and maybe get a coaching point there too. I certainly learn a lot from these because it gets me thinking about some of these questions that are coming in. Again, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hopefully you guys have had a chance to check out the website. I think there's some excellent resources for you guys, and never hesitate to reach out. Just stay on the grind, keep developing your guys, and love every minute of it.